let's take a look at this practice test for Unit 2. We're going to be solving inequalities and absolute value equations. We always want to make sure that we're showing all of our work so that whoever's grading this can tell what we were thinking. And we always want to make it easy to find our answers by circling them. So let's take a look at this first one. Remember, we're going to be solving some absolute value equations to begin with. So remember, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to isolate the absolute value expression. So we're going to get that absolute value by itself. That's the first thing we're going to do. And then break into two cases. Break into two cases. Now remember, the reason we're going to break this into two cases is because there are two directions. And we're going to solve each one of those directions when we go to the right of 0 and when we go to the left of 0. So this first one is very quick. It's already isolated. So what we can do is we can remove the absolute value, set it equal to 18, remove the absolute value, set it equal to negative 18. Again, it's a good idea to put them in this order. Put the negative on the left side, that represents going to the left, and put the positive on the right side, that represents going to the right. And that's it. There's nothing to solve. The answer is negative 18 and positive 18. Let's take a look at this next one. We do need to isolate the absolute value here, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to subtract 5. Those are going to cancel each other off, so we're going to get the absolute value of g is equal to negative 3. And at this point, some bells should be going off, because this right here is going to be positive, or at the very least, the smallest it could ever be would be a 0 if we plug in a number. And it's saying that that's going to equal a negative. Well, whenever we isolate the absolute value and it's set equal to a negative, then we know there's no solution to that particular problem. So we're going to write no solution on that one, and we're going to move on to the next. Okay, let's take a look at number 3. This is not isolated yet, so we're going to move the negative 8. We're going to do that by adding 8 to both sides. Those are going to undo each other, so we're left with the absolute value of n minus 4 is equal to, these would combine to be positive 2. So once it's isolated, it's set equal to a positive, so we're going to remove the absolute value. So we're going to do n minus 4 is set equal to 2. And we're going to do n minus 4, so we remove the absolute value and set it equal to the opposite of that number right there. So that's going to be negative 2. We'll go ahead and solve this. We're going to add 4 here and add 4 here. So we get n equals, in this case, negative 2 plus 4 is 2. So one of the answers is 2, and the other answer right here, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to add 4. Those are going to cancel. We end up with 6. So we get two completely different answers on that particular one. Let's keep going on this one. Let's take a look at number 4. Again, we don't have this absolute value isolated yet, so let's get rid of that 11. We're going to subtract 11 from both sides. So we get the absolute value of 4 plus k is equal to, and then 3 minus 11 is negative 8. Again, we run into the same thing that we did up above. Let's just show our thinking there. The smallest this could be would be 0, so it's usually going to be positive, and it's set equal to a negative. So again, we're going to say no solution on this one right here. We love those. Those are very quick. And then we'll take a look at number 5. Again, we're going to isolate, so we're going to subtract 6. W. That's going to be negative 60 altogether. So when we divide by negative 5, and again, if you've been solving inequalities, you might be thinking, oh, do I need to switch anything? Remember, with an equation, you don't have to switch anything. So this is going to be absolute value of 4w is set equal to, negative divided by a negative is a positive, and 60 divided by 5 is 12. So we get two cases here. 4w equals 12, and we get 4w equals negative 12. So we're going to divide by 4 on every single one of these, and we get w equals negative 3 here, so there's one of the answers. And we get w equals, let's see, we get 3 there. So the two answers on that one are 3 and negative 3. Okay, let's take a look at number 6. We have some isolating to do here, so I'm going to subtract 10. Those are going to cancel. I'm going to have a 9 and then an m plus 5 in the absolute value bars. 10 minus 10 is 0. Again, no need to freak out. It's totally fine to get an answer of 0 on that side. We're going to keep isolating, so we're going to divide by 9. So we get the absolute value of m plus 5 is equal to 0 divided by 9. Remember, we can take 0 and divide it by a number. So 0 on the top is totally okay. 0 on the bottom is not okay. So on this one, we get an answer of 0. And then remember, this is one of those funny cases where we only get one solution, because we wouldn't be able to take m plus 5 and set it equal to 0 and then write one over here that says m plus 5 equals negative 0. 0 doesn't have a sign, it's right on top of 0, so we're only going to get one answer here. We're going to subtract 5 from both of these, so we're going to get m on this side and we're going to get negative 5 on that side. So the solution there is m equals negative 5. We'll take a look at this one here. Again, we'll keep isolating here. So I get absolute value of 3k plus 9. I'm going to make that bar a little bit longer so that it looks right. Set it equal to 2. Remove the absolute value bar. Set it equal to 2. The other case going to the left is where we remove the absolute value bar and set it equal to negative 2. Remember, in both of these are 2 units away from 0, so let's finish solving this. I'm going to subtract 9. We get 3k, negative 11 here altogether. Divide by 3, so we get k equals negative 11 thirds. 3 doesn't go in there evenly, so we think of it as a fraction, and it doesn't reduce at all, so we're going to leave it like that. And then over here, we're going to subtract the 9. We get 3k. These combine to be negative 7. You can double check that on your calculator if you're ever worried about something like that on a test. Please do. You'd hate to make a silly mistake here. And that's negative 7 thirds. That doesn't reduce or simplify either. So we're all set there. Let's take a look at number 8. Let's again go ahead and simplify here. So we're going to add 3 to both sides. Those go away. We're going to have 8, absolute value of 10x plus 4. And that's equal to, if we add those together, we end up with 24. Yeah, because we added 3 to both sides, so that's going to be 24. Keep simplifying. We're going to divide by 8. So we get absolute value of 10x plus 4. And then over here, 24 divided by 8 is 3. And then we'll break it into the two cases. So we get 10x plus 4 is equal to 3. And we get 10x plus 4 is equal to negative 3. We'll go ahead and solve this one first. So we'll subtract 4. So we get 10x is equal to negative 7. We'll divide by, whoops, other way around. We're going to divide by 10 to get rid of that 10. We want to isolate the x right there. So we're going to get x is equal to negative 7/10. That's one of them. So another fraction, but it's not too bad. We don't have to simplify it all, so that's kind of nice. And then on this one, we're going to subtract 4. We end up with 10x is equal to negative 1. Divide both sides by 10. Of course, the 10s would cancel again, and we're going to get x is equal to negative 1/10. So we get two completely different answers there as well. Okay, so that's how we solve absolute value equations. Now we're going to go back to solving inequalities, and these are a little bit easier, I think, because we don't have the two cases to worry about. All we need to worry about is if we multiply or divide by a negative. So as we go through and do this, let's keep track of that. So this is the variable term. We're going to isolate that, so I'm going to add 4 to both sides. That's going to give me a negative 2. And then again, we think we're adding, so that doesn't change the direction of the inequality. So on this side, we have b over 7. Now we're going to multiply both sides by 7. And we're going to end up with those canceling. We'd have a b on this side. We haven't done anything to change the direction of the inequality. So we're going to write it this way, and we're going to say b is less than negative 14. So I'm going to put a 0 here. I'm going to put a 0 on a circle on the most important number on the number line, so that's going to be negative 14. We're going to figure out whether we're going to leave it open or closed. This does not have an equal sign on it, so that little equal bar underneath there is missing. So it's not going to be equal to that. We're going to leave it open. And I'm going to read it this way. The answers are on the smaller side of negative 14. The answers are less than negative 14. So we're going to shade this way. And again, just a couple bars and a little light shading will do it. Let's take a look at the next one. That long fraction bar groups the two of those together, so we're going to multiply both sides by 8. Those are going to cancel. We're left with negative 1 plus x. We're multiplying by a positive 8, so that does not change the direction of the inequality. We'll double check and make sure we get the right answer here. We're going to have negative 2.2, and we're going to multiply by 8. You may be able to do that in your head, but let's just double check. Yep. Negative 17.6. So negative 17.6, and then we'll finish this off by adding 1 to both sides. So we end up with x. This does not change the direction of the inequality, and we end up with negative 16.6. So there's our answer, and we want to go ahead and graph that. So I'm going to put a 0 right here. I'm going to put a circle right here for negative 16.6. That would be between negative 16 and negative 17, a little bit closer to negative 17, so I'm going to make it look like that. And then we would shade, let's see, we do need to close this in because it can actually equal that. And then we would shade x's that are less than negative 16.6, so we are going to shade to the left side again. The answers here are going to be smaller than negative 16.6. Okay, flipping the page over, let's take a look at the other side. Again, we're going to isolate the variable term here. This is the variable term. Those are stuck together for the time being, so I'm going to subtract 4 from both sides. I'm just going to move that to the other side there, and I get negative 2/3 n. Subtracting doesn't change the direction of the inequality, so we're going to leave it like that. And then we have to get rid of a fraction in front of the variable, so we're going to multiply both sides by the reciprocal. So I'm going to multiply this side by negative 3/2, and I'm going to multiply this side by negative 3/2. The negatives are going to cancel, the 2's are going to cancel, and the 3's are going to cancel. So we get an n on this side, which is what we want. We did multiply both sides by a negative, so we do need to change the direction of the inequality. Might as well think of this as a 7/1, and then we're just going to multiply straight across. So this is going to be negative 21/2. So there's our answer. Might not be a bad idea to think of this as negative 11 1/2 because 2 goes in there, 10 1/2. 10 1/2. 2 goes in there 10 times with 1 left over. So again, I'm going to put 0 right here. I'm going to put negative 11 here and negative 10 right here. I'm going to put a big circle right there, and I'm going to label that as negative 21/2. We're not going to close it in, and we're going to shade on the left-hand side because these answers are less than negative 21/2. Okay, next one. We're going to add 5 to both sides. We get a negative x greater than or equal to, this would be negative 3. We've got to get rid of that negative in front there. There are a couple different ways that we could do that. We could multiply both sides by a negative 1, divide both sides by a negative 1, or we could just say, hey, I don't want negative x, I want its opposite, which is positive x. So I want its opposite, which is positive 3, and I want the opposite of this, which would be a less than. Lots of different ways to think your way through that, but that's going to be the answer there. So again, we've got a 0 here. I've got, let's do it this way. That's a positive 3. So we've got a 0 here, we've got a 3 here. We don't fill it in. Again, if we read from the variable, this is a less than, so we're going to shade this direction. So just by coincidence, we end up with a whole bunch of these that are all shaded to the left. Let's see if that changes here in a minute. We're going to distribute negative 10x. This is going to be plus 50. Greater than or equal to, this is negative 50. We're going to keep isolating that variable term. So we end up with negative 10x greater than or equal to, this would be negative 100. And then we're going to divide both sides by negative 10. So those are going to cancel. We did divide by a negative, so we're going to switch the direction here, and that ends up being a positive 10. So again, interestingly enough, this is a 10. We are going to fill that in. And if you read from the variable, the answers are less than. They're going to be smaller than 10. So again, we're shading this way. Pretty interesting. Certainly wouldn't want to second guess here. On this one, we're going to be simplifying here. We've got some terms that we need to combine. So this is going to be n minus 6 once we put the two of those together. Again, simplifying doesn't change the direction of the inequality. We're going to put the two of those together, and we end up with a 3n. And we've got that minus 16 there. Then we're going to move the smaller of the two, so I'm going to move the n over here by subtracting n. Just cross that out over there. I'm going to move the negative 16 to the other side by adding 16, so that's going to go away. So we get a 10 on this side. We're just adding and subtracting, so that doesn't change the direction of the inequality, so it's going to stay like that. And then we're going to divide by 2. A positive 2, so that does not change the direction of the inequality, and we're going to leave it like that. So we've got a 5 that's positive, so I'm going to put a 0 right here. I'm going to put a circle where the 5 is. We're not going to fill it in, and let's read this one from the variable. So n is, this is on the bigger side, that kind of big mouth side. n is greater than 5, or the answers are greater than 5. So we finally got one where we shade to the right. Okay, we'll keep going. I think these are the last two. So on this one, again, we're going to distribute. So negative 5x plus 25. Distributing doesn't change the direction of the inequality, so we'll just keep working through this one right here. I'm going to move the smaller one. That's going to be this guy right here. So I'm going to add 5x here and add 5x here. If we're adding 5x over here, the x's are going to end up on this side, so let's go ahead and move the 4 by subtracting 4. So that's going to leave us with a 21 over on this side. All we've done is add and subtract, so that doesn't change the direction of the inequality. We do combine those together and we get 21x. We're going to divide by 21, and that doesn't change the direction of the inequality. And there's our answer right there. Let's go ahead and graph that. Let's see, so we've got 0 here, we've got 1 here. We are going to close it in because it can also equal 1. And then again, reading from the variable, this is another less than, so we're going to shade this direction right here. These answers are going to be less than 1. Okay, last one looks like a big long one. We've got a lot of simplifying to do, so I'm just going to go ahead and distribute through here. So we get negative 42x, make that look like a 42. Then minus 18, this is plus 4x, minus 16. Again, we're not changing the direction of the inequality, but I am going to go ahead and combine the two of those. That's going to be negative 8x minus 4. Collecting some like terms here, let's see what we get. So if we put the two of those together, that's going to be negative 38x. If we put the two of those together, that's going to be, that's a minus or a negative 34. Again, all we're doing is just simplifying here. So we're not changing direction. We're now to a point where we can move these around. I'm going to move the 38 to the other side, so I'm going to add 38x here and add 38x here. If we're going to move the x's over there, let's go ahead and get rid of that 4. So let's add the 4 right here. So we end up with, this is a negative 34. Again, no change of direction because we haven't multiplied or divided by a negative. We get a 30, whoops, I apologize. We get a 30 here. Yeah, those combine to be a negative 30. And these combine to be a positive 30. We're going to go ahead and divide by 30. That's a positive. It doesn't change the direction. This is a negative 1 over here. And once again, take a look at this. This is a negative 1. We're not going to fill it in, and the answers are on the less than side. So we head off in this direction right there. Okay, really good practice there. If you know how to do this, you should be in great shape on the test. Good luck.